Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Talking Wanderers, where we at Bolton News Towers take a weekly look at what's going on at the Reebok. My name's Mark Higginson and with me today is Mark Isles. Well Mark, no better place to start than Gary Cahill scoring for England.
Absolutely, yeah, wonderful for him. First one in 52 years, first Wanderers playing 52 years, and I've got to admit that that statistic caused me a few rough rides on Friday night trying to dish out Parry's name and all sorts of shenanigans. But you've got to be delighted for Gary Cahill because he's worked so hard to get himself in there and in that England squad to take his big chance. And not only his goal, he defended really well on the night as well. His partnership with John Terry seemed pretty solid. And whilst you can argue that Bulgaria aren't the world force or what have you, he's got to start somewhere, and it was a great performance on a night that there was a lot of pressure on him because obviously everything had happened beforehand with the transfer deadline day and the week that panned out with Arsenal and Tottenham coming in for him. So there was loads of pressure there on him, but yet again, he's come to the fore.
Exactly like I say, there was a lot of pressure on him, but he's dealt with it well. And I mean, Owen Coyle was talking about offering him a new deal, maybe. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Tie him down.
I mean, that's the $1 million question now, isn't it? It's whether or not Bolton can sit him down and convince him that another 12 months or what have you is in his career interest. Because let's get it right, the more games he plays like that, the bigger clubs are going to think, well, we're going to come in for him, whether it be January, whether it be further afield, and obviously his contract runs out next summer, so it's a big challenge for Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah, and more good news, Stuart Oldham back on the training pitch.
Absolutely, yes. He played obviously last week in the reserves. He's back up and running now, and I think he's playing against Rochdale in the Manchester Senior Cup as well. So yeah, that's great news. I mean, last season he was the outstanding midfield player for me up until the point he got injured at United, and it'd be lovely to think that he can get through this Rochdale game and maybe play some part against United again at the weekend. It'd just be a nice bit of symmetry to it. But he's been terrific. He's a lovely bloke, and you can only wish the best for him.
Yeah, and he'll add a lot to the team, won't he, when he comes back?
Exactly. I mean, they've got quite a few options in there in the midfield now. But I think with Stuart, he is the complete midfielder. He's got everything going forward, and he's got that work ethic as well. And he brings such a personality to the team that he would, if he's fit and sound, he'd be first choice, and it'd be who's playing alongside him for me.
Definitely. And how are the new boys settling in? Are they going to be ready for Saturday?
Well, they settled in nice enough. I think they should have brought their umbrellas the other day at Exton. We turned up and it was just downpour, and all three of them looked thoroughly miffed at having turned up. But no, I mean they're three quality players. You can't think that David Ungog, spending £4 million on him, you've not brought him in to be a substitute. Dedrick Boyata, ditto really. I mean, he's he might have to bide his time because you'd think that Cahill and Knight are still the first choice pairing in central defence at least. But he can play fullback, and there's been question marks over Greta Steinson's fitness as well. So there's options there, and Gael Kakuta can play either wing. I think at first he's going to have to bide his time a little bit like Rodrigo did last season. But his flexibility means that he can come on and show maybe from the bench and go from there.
Yeah, they play United on Saturday. One interesting selection dilemma maybe for Owen Coyle is Ivan Klasnic. Scored 3 and 3, but is he an automatic pick?
Yeah, well, I've had some grief over this week, and it's an interesting one. I mean, we wrote the article because it literally is a talking point. I mean, Ivan scored 3 goals in 3 games. And yet, I would suggest that his performances in all 3 games have still had question marks against them. Against Liverpool, nobody was good, and I'm sure Kevin Davison admitted he wasn't at his best as well. So you could very easily see both of them question marks over both of them for the United game. But with Ivan, we've said it so many times on here. If he's not scoring goals, he isn't necessarily doing a lot, and there are statistics out there that prove otherwise, but I just think looking at the team, it still revolves around what Kevin Davis does, no matter how you slice it up. So it's still a case of who do you select alongside him. At the moment, Klasnic is in the driving seat, and he's just got back-to-back games for the first time in 2 years. If he can't do it now, you'd argue he never can. So it's going to be very, very interesting this next couple of weeks to see how Owen Coyle, how much room he gives him, and whether or not he can take take up the slack as such and prove that he deserves to be in there from the start every week.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt he's a proven goal scorer, but against a team that's just won 8-2 in the last game, maybe you need a bit of a shift out of him.
Well, I think against United, you know you're going to have to work very, very hard off the ball, and you can't afford to give United's back four or the midfielders time to turn and pick the pass out. We did that far too much against Liverpool, and that's where we got undone. Now, I mean, we know Kevin Davies does his chasing, not so much against Liverpool, but I think that his physical presence there is going to be really important against United. Whether or not even Klasnic falls into that category, I'm unconvinced, but that's not to say, you know, his goal threat's there. If somebody can get a goal out of nothing, that's you know, worth its weight in gold as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's very, very uncertain as to which way Owen Cole's going to look, and ultimately it's his choice, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they might be flying United, but there's every reason to believe that Wanderers can turn them over.
Well, you know, they're at home. It's 5:30 kick-off. It's going to be a great atmosphere. 3 new signings, you know, and there's a couple of lads like Tunchai, for example, who haven't had the proper chance yet. There's a real buzz about the team at the minute, even off the back of a poor performance against Liverpool. So there's plenty of optimism there. And, you know, last season, very unlucky not to win the game.
Yeah, prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 Wanderers. I'm going to say there's going to be a shock on the cards. I fancy it. I really do fancy it. I think it might depend on what happens tonight with the internationals and such like. But if Wanderers can put a full team out, and maybe United just have an off day, yeah, why not?
Excellent. Cheers, Mark. There you have it. Mark thinks they're going to beat United on Saturday. Let's hope he's right. Tune in next week for another instalment of Talking Wanderers.